We've codified our existence to bring it down to human size, to make it comprehensible. We've created a scale so that we can forget its unfathomable scale.
Greetings. I have seen the rise and fall of empires, the construction of vast monuments, and the ebb and flow of human history. But I have also witnessed the destructive power of forces that lie beyond a ruler's control. Forces that, when unleashed, can lead to the downfall of even the greatest of civilizations. The year is 1945, and the world is embroiled in the horrors of World War II. Nations clash across the globe, from the lands of Europe to the Pacific Islands, and the bloodshed is unparalleled. Over 60 million people have already died by this point in the war, and the toll continues to climb. The Allied forces are on the brink of victory, but the Axis powers remain relentless. And Japan, despite the mounting losses, refuses to surrender. The conflict has devastated entire nations, and the cost is staggering. Millions of lives have been lost, and yet, the war rages on. One of the most horrific chapters of this war has been the Holocaust, in which the Nazi regime, led by Adolf Hitler, systematically murdered approximately 6 million Jews. The brutality was unimaginable. Families torn apart, lives snuffed out in gas chambers and death camps, such as Auschwitz and Dachau. In the midst of this, the world bore witness to the suffering of individuals like Anne Frank, a young Jewish girl who, along with her family, hid in a secret annex in Amsterdam to escape the Nazis. Though she wrote of hope, her life was tragically cut short at the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp. Anne's story became a symbol of the millions of voices silenced by the cruelty of war. As the war raged on in the Pacific, the Battle of Iwo Jima in February 1945 left over 6,800 American soldiers dead, while the Japanese forces lost nearly 20,000 men. Okinawa, in the spring of the same year, proved equally devastating, claiming over 12,000 American lives, while 100,000 Japanese soldiers and civilians perished. Even these staggering numbers could not force Japan to relent. And then, the world saw the unimaginable. A weapon was created that could bring such devastation that it would forever alter the course of human history. On July the 16th, 1945, in the barren desert of New Mexico, the first test of this new weapon, known as the atomic bomb, is conducted. A brilliant flash of light explodes across the sky. The power unleashed is like nothing anyone has ever seen. A force that shakes the earth and burns the air. The bomb works, and the world changes forever. But even as the war seems to be nearing its end, the United States is determined to use this weapon to force Japan's surrender. The decision is made. The atomic bomb will be dropped, not once, but twice, to end the war swiftly and decisively. The first target is Hiroshima, a city on the island of Honshu. On August 6, 1945, a B-29 bomber named Enola Gay departs from the island of Tinian, carrying a bomb known as Little Boy. It is an unthinkable act, but one that the world will soon never forget. At 8:15 a.m. on August 6, 1945, the bomb is released over Hiroshima, and within seconds, a blinding flash fills the sky. The explosion releases an overwhelming amount of energy, a thunderous roar, a heat so intense that it incinerates everything in its path. 70,000 people die instantly, their lives snuffed out without warning. The city is reduced to rubble. Buildings, homes, roads, everything is obliterated. The world, in the blink of an eye, is forever changed. The explosion leaves behind an eerie silence, broken only by the cries of those who survived the initial blast. But the horrors do not end there. Radiation sickness, burns, and other injuries begin to take their toll on the survivors. Thousands of people, disfigured and dying, suffer as the days pass. Many will die in the weeks, months, and years that follow, due to the long-term effects of radiation. Hiroshima is no more. It is a wasteland, a city erased from the face of the earth. And yet, despite the unimaginable devastation, Japan does not surrender. I have ruled for many years, led my people through triumphs and hardships, and seen the finest works of civilization. But never in my lifetime could I have imagined a power such as this. A weapon so violent, so complete, that it erases not just buildings, but the very souls of its victims. As a ruler, I carried the weight of my people's future on my shoulders. I made decisions that affected the lives of thousands, but I also held the responsibility to preserve the stability of my kingdom. There were times when war seemed inevitable, but I always sought to protect my people, to preserve the integrity of my land. Yet this new power, this atomic bomb, is not like any weapon I've seen. It does not simply destroy an army or conquer a nation. It destroys the very idea of war itself. There is no victor here, only devastation. What did those who decided to unleash such power see in that moment? Did they see victory in the collapse of Hiroshima? Did they believe the world could be rebuilt from such ashes? It is one thing to win a battle, but to unleash this kind of destruction is to abandon the very essence of leadership. Leadership is not about power alone. It is about the ability to protect life, to preserve the future. When I think of what I have seen, of the destruction of Hiroshima, of the immense suffering, I wonder, would I ever choose such a path? Would I have brought such a weapon to bear against another? Number. I would have sought another way, for there is always another way. I am not naive. The wars of men cannot always be avoided, but war must never be the first choice, for it leaves scars that endure long after the battlefield is quiet. The people of Hiroshima, those who survived, will carry the marks of that day for the rest of their lives. It is an ache in the heart, a wound that never truly heals. The atomic bomb has changed the world, but not for the better. It has shown us the great capacity of humankind for destruction and the deep responsibility we must carry as we hold the power to erase life itself. We have seen this before. In the Holocaust, where millions of lives were destroyed in the name of ideology. In Anne Frank's story, we witnessed the innocence of youth erased by hatred and cruelty. And in Hiroshima, the world saw the consequences of unleashing unspeakable destruction